So the good thing about catching a movie extra early is that I have more time to reach out to you guys and recommend a particular movie. And on the flip side, it gives me more time to warn you about seeing a particular kind of movie. Now, I was reminded recently that sometimes seeing a bad movie isn't a bad thing because this is what I do. I go out there and see the garbage movies so you guys don't have to. Now, does this movie qualify as good or bad? Let's talk about it. And with that, I'm welcoming you to another episode of the Road Mentor, where my goal, as always, is to enhance your movie watching experience. So King Arthur, Legend of the Sword. This is, of course, a new version, a reimagining, if you will, of the classic tale. Of course, we've seen this done several times, and whether in books, TV, or in movies. Done a little bit differently than what we'll be used to seeing, particularly because it's helmed by Guy Richie, who has a distinct style. And it's a guy who I really like. I like most of his movies. He doesn't always hit, but most of the time it gives us something very entertaining. Now, of course, just like the other ones we've seen before, this iteration of this tale obviously focuses on Arthur himself, who we all know the legend when he pulls the Excalibur from the stone and takes his rightful place in Camelot. And of course, there's the Knights of the Round Table, Guinevere, the Lady in the Water, in the Lake, or whatever. All that good stuff. And this one here, I thought was very interesting in seeing because I wanted to see what Guy Richie would kind of do for this. I wasn't sure this was actually a good mix of his style with this kind of movie. Now, in all fairness, I would say that I wasn't really expecting much out of this movie. I hated the trailers, all the promos went along with it. I thought it just was not a good fit. Something seemed off about it. And I was really expecting to really just outright hate this movie. Now, I will say this, I didn't do that. I didn't hate this movie, but don't get it twisted. I didn't like this movie either. Although I didn't really like this movie, there are some good things about it. Before I get to the bad, let me focus on the good. And I don't want to be all negative Nancy here. I like Jude Law. I thought he was great. I normally do like him a lot. He played a really good character playing Arthur's uncle who betrayed Arthur's father and took the crown away from him, what have you. And I thought he was really well. He did a lot of interesting things. The lengths that he goes to maintain his power, you really hate him. And that's a good thing. It was a good villain that was set up. I also like I like that Guy Richie tried to do something different. This is really almost like an origin story for Arthur, if you will, but it was kind of a reimagining. It's kind of about a lot more of the fantastical elements that we normally don't see in this movie before. We've seen it in movies before. Yes, we still have the sword and the stone, like I mentioned earlier. But obviously, but we have more elements of magic. Although Merlin is not really in this movie at all, and he's just mentioned. And the closest thing we get to Merlin is a mage he sends out to help Arthur find his way, if you will. But again, there's a lot of great creatures, a lot of great imagery, and there's a lot more magic involved. And it's very reminiscent, kind of like a Lord of the Rings. It doesn't reach close to those heights. And as far as the epic nature of what Lord of the Rings does, in this movie probably could have been better served by doing that. I did like some of the dialogue as well. Guy Ritchie is known for his great dialogue with movies like Lock, Stock, and Barrel and Snatch, of course, and others, even Sherlock Holmes, which was okay in my book. But I guess I can say I like half the direction in this movie, besides the imagery and the look of it. And I love some of that quick pacing and editing that he does. We're used to seeing from Guy Ritchie. He's got that unique style, and he brings it right to this movie. And particularly with the exposition, he knows how to handle that well. He just has a couple of people sit down and talk about explaining something backstory or a plan they're trying to do. He actually makes it very entertaining, flows very fast, just quick cuts and quick shots, and it goes back and forth between the past and the present and the future. And it really kind of gets you engaged in what's happening, as opposed to just, again, having people just explain a certain situation. It's very entertaining, and a lot of cool characters in here. They're not giving a lot to do in terms of development, but there are cool characters, particularly some of the people who run in Arthur's circles. Now, on the flip side of that coin, again, I liked half his direction, the other half I didn't like. The one had a cool vibe and cool look to it. But unfortunately, I'm not sure if this is his fault or not, but the CGI was very shoddy throughout the movie. And just like sometimes it looked great, sometimes I was like, it's like I was watching something back in 1990. I just didn't mesh well. But the action itself, that frantic editing pace that he has with some of the dialogue, doesn't really work with the action, because I don't know what the fuck is going on sometimes. He takes a lot from Zack Snyder. And I'm not saying Zack Snyder's a better director than Guy Ritchie, but Zack Snyder, what he does well is give you a good sense of the action. When he slows it down, you can see what's happening on screen. Guy Richie does some of the same things, but it just doesn't work. It's very frantic, quick edits. You don't know who's what. It happens way too fast, and you kind of get lost in the action, which is a shame because you want the action to really drive the story, and it doesn't really do that, which is unfortunate. A lot of times it's about 20 minutes too long, at least, maybe 30 minutes too long. It's a little over 2 hours, or just about 2 hours, and it could have been much better served about an hour and 30, an hour and 45 max. I found myself just as quippy as the dialogue was, and there was some entertainment value here. I was bored. I was just trying to look at my watch and say, when can I get out of here? I just was not engaged in this movie at all. Maybe it's just me, I don't know. And the biggest problem, of course, is Charlie Hunnam, who plays Arthur himself. Completely miscast. I like him. I love me some Jax. I'm a huge Sons of Anarchy fan. But every time I see Charlie Hunnam in any movie, it's just Jax placed somewhere differently. Here's no different. He's given a kind of a weird British accent, but it's Jax. It's just what I see, and some things is, you know, and even the mage who plays the character who helps him out, who Merlin sends to help him, she's completely lifeless. She's got this one note, always sad. She has no energy, and it's a couple of things. This movie just doesn't make any sense towards the end, and the climax, which is not very, it's kind of anticlimactic. But there's one scene, I won't spoil it, of something that she does, which is kind of cool, and I'm like, well, if she could do that, why didn't she do that early on? Could have saved us all an hour and a half of my life. And then it just what she does comes and goes. I'm thinking, why did that aspect stick around? It comes out of nowhere. And a lot of things happen in this movie like that. You just don't know what's going on. Such a mixed bag. I won't say it's disappointment because I wasn't expecting much, and that's what I got. Again, not the worst thing of all time. There is some entertainment value to it, particularly if you're a Guy Richie fan. So, although clearly I'm not going to recommend you guys go watch it in the theater, just save your hard-earned money. It's just way better off watching it on VOD, Netflix, whatever. You're going to get some enjoyment out of it at home, but I count as it says you go out in the theaters and watch it. It's a missed opportunity. It's a letdown with some interesting elements about it. So at the end of the day, King Arthur, are you guys going to watch it? Check it out. Comment below. Let me know if I'm freaking nuts or you guys hated the movie as much as I did, or at least disliked the movie as much as I did. And of course, as always, if you haven't done so already, subscribe below and feed my need to go to the movies and talk about it afterwards. See you guys next time.